Hey, welcome to the hot mess that is my workbench this week. Normally I do a workbench video every 2 weeks just to show what I've been up to. The previous update and this update aren't connected because I've stumbled across several different rule sets. I bought some from the Osprey website that were on sale, and things go as they go. I quickly lost interest in one project and gained interest in another project. But for me, it's actually been worse than that. I've gained interest in several projects. So I'm sort of living a kind of hell week this week, where I'm bouncing around and fiddling around with one project and then another. I can't really decide what to get my my teeth sunk into. The first thing that I worked on, and you can see on here on the bench, like, look at all this. This is what a mess this is. I've been getting my 3D printer going, and I've been printing off some things, just testing it out, seeing what it can do. I've just randomly found files on the internet for free that I've downloaded, and now not all of these are 3D printed files, but a lot of them are. So I've been downloading 3D printing files and printing them off and seeing what it can do, and I'm kind of amazed by what a resin printer can do and how easy it is to use. Now, it has its problems. I won't lie and say that it's been amazing. It's actually been fairly frustrating at times, but my workbench symbolizes my confused state on what project to do and my downtime 3D printing practicing. One of the things that I do have, though, that's not 3D printed, that I've been working on first, is I've been working on Battletech, and I've just started to paint this, I guess this is a Wolverine maybe, and I have it in a Davian, House Davian color scheme. I don't know why, I just kind of like it. So I've been painting them. Now, this is an official model from Catalyst. I do have several boxes of that. So this is an official model I've been working on, and once I got the color scheme, this was kind of like a test for the color scheme, then I found some files online that would let me print off some other mechs. Now, the Kickstarter for the Battletech clan invasion is due probably within about a few weeks, and I'm going to do a video on that because I'm heavily invested in Battletech, especially in that Kickstarter. And until that Kickstarter arrives, it's one of those things. I got the notice that the Kickstarter was arriving, and then instantly I stopped what I was doing and I started looking at Battletech stuff. And then I found these files, and I'm kind of 3D printing them just to see if it'll work. And I mean, look at that thing has antennae on there. I mean, that's amazing. Printed off a few of these, just a few, just to see what it was about. This is a stalker, and you'll see more of that coming up. I'm just going to practice paint these guys here and see what happens. The last update, I was printing off and painting off some micro Battlefleet Gothic, so I have them almost done, and you'll see a video on that shortly. That was a battleship. This is a cruiser, maybe not the best. This is like a Imperial cruiser. Then the 6mm Napoleonic bug hit me again because me and my wife played a game that I posted here as a battle report, and it's really got me thinking about doing the earlier periods of Napoleonics. And I don't mean like 1798 stuff. I mean 1805 to 1807, which is my favorite time period in the Napoleonics. So I did print off some of these. You just might be able to see them, hopefully, Austrian battalions. Some Austrian battalions. Now, I'm not going to paint them in this big cube, but like this. I'm actually going to snip them off and paint them in rows of 4. But there's an Austrian battalion. I printed off a couple of them just to practice, and then I printed off a couple of these early Russian battalions. These are Henry Turner miniatures. There's another cat here. He's not here with me today because he bit me while I was down here, and he's in timeout upstairs. So I printed off 2 Russian battalions, 2 Austrian battalions. I'm just going to get my test paints done, and then once that's done, I'm going to start getting into that and hopefully do enough figures for Austerlitz and Eylau Friedland. Another thing that we worked on this week was 3D printing wise was also some Chaos cruisers from Micro Battlefleet Gothic. We started to paint them. You can see what kind of a hot mess this is already. Then we've 3D printed off some, these look like ogres from Warhammer Fantasy, but in 10 mil. We printed off some of them, and I got started painting some of the regular ones. So here is a stand. Now these are going to be for Kings of War. You see, I started printing them, and I used contrast paint to get like the practice paint scheme down. So I have those, and I have several bases of those that I have to paint. I'm currently painting them actually today, so there should be a lot more next week or the next time. The next thing I'm doing is, these are currently my wife's figures. She's just finished base coating and washing some of the sludge figures. So we got some Perry Knights here. And Perry do make some really nice plastic figures. You know, so she's working on them today. She's actually upstairs right now, doing the flesh on several more ogres. But you know, we've got several knights there from Perry that we're working on, and I haven't really got a whole lot completed because I've been jumping around. So this is why it's a mess as it is. One of the rule sets that I read and I was really enjoying reading was a rule set called Forager. It's a Napoleonic skirmish game. So I've decided to break out my Wargames Atlantic British Rifleman, and I've got the primer down on these guys. So this is a Wargames Atlantic Napoleonic British Rifleman for the game Forager, and I'm going to use these figures as my figures for that game. And these are really nice figures too. Plastic figures have come a long way in the last, I'd say, even 4 or 5 years. Here's the last rifleman, and here is the officer. And to go against them in the Forager game, I have some French. So here's the French officer. Now he is a plastic figure from Perry. So the arm and the body and the head are Perry figures, and the coat is a Victrix figure coat from the officer command sprue on the Victrix French set. So I just thought it looked really cool. Oh, come on, focus. I thought it looked really cool, and it just gives them a nice sort of pompous French commander look. So there's them. And then I'm painting up this week some, come on, focus, phone, focusing, here we go, sorry about that, some French Voltigeur, I guess it's called. So these are Perry's again, from that giant pile of Perry boxes that I brought in. I put 6 of these guys together for the Forager game. Oops, sorry, shaky camera. Perry has some really nice figures. I can't get over how nice these plastic figures are from them. The faces, just the movement and the figure. This is the last one. So that's that. So I have the Napoleonics, the Ogres, the Knights, the Battletech stuff I'm doing. I have the Micro Battlefleet Gothic stuff, the 6mm Napoleonic stuff, and then last but not least is my obsession with my printer this week, or last few days. I'd say probably last 3 days. I've been printing off big ships, because in one of my videos previously I talked about my Black Seas fleet. I have a Spanish and French fleet that I posted a video of, but I don't have anyone to play against because we're currently not playing games at my friend David's house, and he has a Royal Navy. So I thought I wanted to do some Royal Navy ships for myself, but I didn't want to buy any. So I went online and I found some STLs that were free, and here's one of them. This is a 92 gun ship. Now it's not as detailed as the Black Seas fleet stuff, but I mean, it's detailed enough for me. You know, once you put some paint on there, and I've already started to paint it just to practice. So I printed off a few of them, even though I said I hated doing it. And I don't know, glutton for punishment. I also printed off some smaller ships. Look really nice. And then a big ship, which is a first-rate ship. Now it's not, you know, it's hard to beat the detail on a resin printer. Like, it's not perfect, these prints, but they're good enough. I guess I still have some cleanup to do there. God, come on, phone. Still have some cleanup to do there, but I wanted to see if the printer would print these things, and lo and behold, it did. So now I'm like, oh, maybe. The hulls of the ship. So this is a very detailed model that I stressed the printer to make, and it did make it first time, no problem. And I printed off 2 of the exact same ship. There's one, there's another one. They're exactly the same. And then I printed off a low-res ship, which is this one here. So you can see like kind of like the details a little more basic on it. The cannons look like stubs versus like little thin cannons there. And I actually think I like this one better because it just it handles easier for wargaming. And then once I had the hulls done, I started to print off the sails, and I have had a hell of a time printing off these sails. I think I've tried maybe 15 times to print off these sails, and I've only gotten 2 of the 4 or 5 sails printed off. You know, they're really nice, but to get them to print straight, especially with these long masts here, they don't print 100% straight. So it's been very frustrating, and I might just see if I can get 1 full set of sails out of the printer, and then I'm going to give it a break for a while because it's very frustrating. But that is what I have been doing this week, the last 2 weeks. I have painted a whole bunch of stuff. No, this isn't... I'm not into this game, but I did buy it a long time ago, and this is Star Wars Legion. Boy, my lighting is terrible down here. And I even paid for these special light stands, but maybe I have them set up wrong. So I've been painting. I did paint some Star Wars Legion stuff. Like, there's a few of them in the box there that I painted, and then there's some Imperials. These were rough to paint, but got some Imperials, and I painted a walker, or whatever this walking thing is, this chicken thing. Now again, I don't play Legion, but I did have the set, and I'm just practicing painting different stuff. And then I did paint several more units for the micro Battlefleet Gothic stuff. So here's a Blood Angel battle barge. This is a, sorry for reaching over there, this is a Chaos Cruiser. And then one more Chaos Grand Cruiser. So there's those. And that's what I've been up to. So I'm going to cut it short here because I'm actually dizzy thinking about all the stuff that I've printed off and started to do this week. I think I will focus mainly on these Ogres for a few days because they're really easy to print or paint. I painted that whole 2 base worths for Kings of War in about 6 hours. That includes printing and drying, or curing, I mean, priming and painting. So a couple of good days and I'll have probably a small army's worth of that done, and then I can base it and put it away and show you again next week. I'm then going to focus on the Battlefleet Gothic because I'm almost done that micro stuff. And my wife is going to work on the sludge stuff because she's really interested in that. And I'm going to work on the Napoleonics because I'm really interested in that. Now the Battletech stuff here and the ships here, I probably won't have an update for maybe 6 weeks. And then small Napoleonics are probably, they're probably 8 weeks out. These are just tests to see how I could print them. I initially printed them in these 5-man ranked large Austrian battalions versus the 4-man ranked Russian battalions, just to see if maybe I could print them off in these chunks and I might be able to paint them really quickly. But after looking at the detail on the figures, I think that's going to be really hard to get paint down inside there. So I'm not going to do that. So that's about 8 weeks away, I think. But I just wanted to show you what has gone on in my brain this week, and it's a hot mess.